Hey, you made it. By now, you've probably seen a fitness cooking video at some point where they've substituted a random ingredient for cottage cheese, or they've added cottage cheese where cottage cheese doesn't need to be added. Said a lot of cottage cheese there. So I thought today, why not make a cheesecake? Classic recipe, but instead we're going to use some lovely cottage cheese in place of the cream cheese you'd normally use in the cheesecake. So before we got the ingredients here, do a bit of baking list if you would. We got the Buckwood classic maple syrup. Just gonna make it all on camera for you guys, and then we're gonna see what the final results like at the end. So we got some plain flour there, already opened, of course. Got a pack of eggs. Gonna show those to the camera. Whoa, some crazy stuff. And I'm going for Galaxy digestives because why not? If it's a fitness video, just make it unhealthy and put some chocolate in it. So, all right. So first ingredient we're probably gonna get out is got to be the cottage cheese, hasn't it? So we'll get straight on with that. Open this absolute bad boy up. See what's going on there. Now the recipe I was using for this did say to blend the cottage cheese, but I've not got time to do that right now, and nor do I have the blender nearby. So we're just gonna put it straight into the pot and just see what we end up with throughout this video. So, oh yeah, don't you just love cottage cheese? It's such a good thing to put in literally everything you do. Nice lumpy, disgusting tasting cottage cheese. It's just so good. It's just a good substitute for just everything. So we'll put a good spoon of that in as the base for the cheesecake. Probably put a little bit more in there just to really make sure we've got enough base, enough for the top of the cheesecake. Even it's not the base, that's the biscuits. All right, so you see, I could add this maple syrup to this cottage cheese cheesecake, but I kind of think that might be a little bit unhealthy, So instead of doing that, I'm going to put that to one side. That's going to go out for now. And we're just going to add a bit more cottage cheese in there just to really get some cottage cheese going. Everything can be replaced by cottage cheese is what I've learned from these fitness recipes. So a little bit, just a touch, just to sweeten it with some cottage cheese there. All right, so the flour is pretty integral in this kind of recipe and making everything kind of stick together, especially when you put it in the oven. So have a look. You see, I don't know about flour, guys. I kind of feel like maybe it's not a good idea to put this in. Like, is it really that much of a fitness recipe if it isn't just cottage cheese? Now, you may be calling me crazy at this point and thinking you can't just substitute flour for cottage cheese, but in the first place, you probably couldn't have substituted the cream cheese for cottage cheese. So what I'm going to do is just add a little bit more cottage cheese. Just maybe finish the pot off. We'll finish that first pot off. That's probably a good idea. There we go. Now that is looking pretty nice right now. It's looking like the sort of cheesecake topping that we're gonna come to love in the end. Let me show you what we got going on there. Look at how well mixed that is. Look at all the different ingredients that are in there now. Now it is a 5-ingredient cheesecake, so we've already got 3 of the ingredients in there. Like what more could possibly go wrong? So then we got the pack of eggs, 6 eggs. I think the recipe requires 2 eggs. So, but the real problem I'm having with this is, once again, think about how many calories there are in this pack of eggs, and then look at the details on this. This has got 17 grams of protein per half a pot. Like, the big question I've got to ask to you. I know it helps to bind and it helps to keep the recipe going and everything. Maybe add a little bit of texture and flavor, but why don't we just replace it with some more cottage cheese? That's what I'm thinking. So now, if this doesn't come out very nice, I honestly think it's probably going to be the recipe's fault, because as much as I substituted 4 out of the 5 ingredients for cottage cheese, it's their fault for telling me not to do that, if you know what I mean. I've seen plenty of things online where people have been like, well, I used banana instead of what you said, and it's just a complete disaster. But I think that they're right. It's completely right to do that. So we'll add a bit more cottage cheese in there, just instead of the... I think it's going to be probably 2 or 3 eggs worth of cottage cheese, so maybe an extra spoon in there just to make sure. So that is the cottage cheese added instead of the eggs. Now, again, if you want to follow along at home, I really would recommend you try this recipe, because it looks really, really nice, and I'm actually really looking forward to trying it. So I'm going to open the pack of digestives if I can figure out where the little pull is. I've got no idea where it is, so I'm just going to have to open them like some sort of caveman. Alright, so if these would open, that would be really helpful. There we go. That's looking better, Alright, so See, the thing with the biscuits is they are quite calorific. Like, what is that? 300 calories. Hang on, am I even reading this right? 495 calories per 100 grams. Whew, 82 calories per biscuit. Now, again, if you've not already clicked off this video because you don't understand the recipe or you're finding it too complicated, I found the bit that you pull now to open them nicely. You're probably thinking, well, you just substitute these for cottage cheese, wouldn't you? And to that, I'd say that's absolutely ridiculous. Why would you do that? You're going to have some biscuit base in this. So what I'm suggesting you do is not use a broken one. So this is basically going to be the base of the cheesecake. Nice chocolatey biscuit and just some, the biscuit underneath. So this is basically going to be the cheesecake step. So you don't have to actually cook anything anymore or do whatever you would do for the actual recipe. You just get a nice spoon of that mix of the flour, the eggs, the maple syrup, and whatever else we put in there. I think that's it. And then you just put that right on top of what would be the base. So basically what we're doing is we're just making a nice cheesecake bite. This is going to be absolutely delicious, guys, I'm telling you. If you haven't already tried this recipe and you've not seen it online, I would really recommend you instantly buy this stuff and just give it a go. So it's basically turned from a 5-ingredient recipe that requires cooking and preparation time to a 2-ingredient recipe that's taken me about 6.5 minutes to make. So we're going to go in for the taste test. I can't make any promises that it's not just going to taste like cottage cheese, but I feel like that would have been the same for the cheesecake anyway. And why not substitute whatever you can for cottage cheese where you can? So let me move back a bit, get a real crunch going for the mic. Oh yeah, that is. That is really delicious, Let me just go in for the second bite there. Now, at this point, I'm starting to think, maybe I've made a mistake. Maybe the recipe was there's just something wrong with the recipe, because that didn't really taste that nice. It just tasted like cottage cheese, which I already don't like. Alright, I'm going to make another one to give it the benefit of the doubt, and I'm going to do it biscuit side this time and see what the chocolate underneath adds to the texture. So, get another delicious scoop of cheese on there. Oh god. Oh, this is. I tell you what, I'm gonna write a really bad review for this recipe because I don't know why they recommended to use the cottage cheese in the first place, and just because I chose to substitute all the ingredients for other things and then it turned out terrible, that's their fault for even having the recipe online, So, I'm gonna go for this one in one go just to get all the flavors going all at once. So. Oh, man, that is delicious. The slight sourness of the lumpy cottage cheese with the nice sugar of the biscuit. Overwhelmingly nice. Oh. Alright. So this has been my baking list episode. I hope you've enjoyed, because I definitely have not. So I'll leave a link. No, actually, I'll just leave the ingredients in the description. I'm not going to include the substitutions. I'm just going to include the raw ingredients we use for this, just so if you do want to recreate it, you can recreate it as God intended. Oh, God. Alright, I don't want to do this again. If you made it this far in the video, please make sure you subscribe. And with that, I want to thank you very much for watching. And I will see you very shortly after I've been sick from eating all this cottage cheese.